King Osiris. As Geb aged, he watched with pride as his eldest son, Osiris, grew into a wise and confident young man. Everyone looked up to Osiris, and not just because he was tall. He was a good and fair god, so it seemed an easy decision for Geb to hand over his crown to Osiris when Geb grew too weary to govern any longer. King Osiris ruled Egypt and all the humans, alongside his wife Isis. Together they ushered in a new age for humankind. Isis discovered wheat and barley, and Osiris showed the mortals how to grow it, so they no longer had to rely solely on hunting for food. The gods also created laws that forbade humans from harming one another or behaving unjustly. Osiris and Isis continued the work of those who ruled before them to bring peace to Egypt. However, all was not well. Osiris and Isis had two siblings, Set and Nephthys, who had also married. Set was extremely jealous of his brother. He felt bitter about Osiris inheriting their father's throne rather than himself, and he looked for any opportunity to get the better of the king. Isis gave the humans wheat and barley, and Osiris taught them how to farm it. The animosity between the brothers only became worse when one evening in the dark Osiris mistook Nephthys for Isis, and Nephthys mistook Osiris for Set. It was only after Nephthys became pregnant with Osiris's son that they realized their mistake. Set flew into a rage when he discovered what had happened. When Nephthys gave birth to a son, she abandoned the boy in the desert because she was scared of what Set might do. There she thought no one would be able to find him. Isis, meanwhile, who had a habit of finding out everything, learned of the child, but she was not angry with Osiris or Nephthys. She understood, unlike Set, that it had been an accident. Isis hated the thought that the baby was alone and would never know his family, so she went to ask Nephthys where he was. Nephthys, however, refused to tell Isis where she had left her son, so Isis set out in search of him. Gathering her most loyal hounds, Isis explained to them exactly what she sought. Her dogs had an amazingly sharp sense of smell, and with their noses to the ground, they led Isis out across the deserts of Egypt. Finally, after many grueling days, the dogs sniffed the scent of the child on the wind. Barking and whining, they ran to a tall dune. There Isis found the squealing baby bundled up and lying on the sand. Isis scooped him up and curiously peered down at the boy's face. While the baby had the body of a boy, he had the furry head of a jackal, a type of wild dog. Smitten, Isis decided to raise him as her own. "I shall name you Anubis," Isis stated, "and you shall be my son," she added, smiling down at her adopted child. Isis held the baby Anubis in her arms.